Oceania has some of the richest economies in the world, such as Australia and New Zealand. So in this video, we bring you the list of the top 10 richest economies in Oceania as of 2020. So, without further ado, let's get straight into the video. Number 10. Federated States of Micronesia. Kicking off our today's list with number 10, we have the Federated States of Micronesia. Federated States of Micronesia has a GDP per capita of $3,634 as of 2018. Federated States of Micronesia has an estimated GDP of $372 million as of 2018. The economic activity of the Federated States of Micronesia consists primarily of subsistence agriculture and fishing. The islands have few mineral deposits worth exploiting, except for high-grade phosphate. The potential for a tourist industry exists, but the remoteness of the location and a lack of adequate facilities hinder development. Financial assistance from the U.S. is the primary source of revenue, with the U.S. pledged to spend $1.3 billion on the islands in 1986 to 2001. Geographical isolation and a poorly developed infrastructure are major impediments to long-term growth. The fishing industry is highly important in the Federated States of Micronesia. Number 9. Tuvalu. Tuvalu has a GDP per capita of $3,796 as of 2018. Tuvalu has an estimated GDP of $42 million as of 2018. The economy of Tuvalu is constrained by its remoteness and lack of economies of scale. Government revenues largely come from fishing licenses, primarily paid under the South Pacific Tuna Treaty, direct grants from international donors, government donors as well as from the Asian Development Bank, and income from the Tuvalu Trust Fund. Agriculture in Tuvalu is focused on coconut trees and growing pulaka in large pits of composted soil below the water table. World Bank statistics outline that in 2010, Tuvalu produced a bottom-tier ranking gross domestic product of $31,350,804 and gross national income of $4,760, compared to other Pacific SID states such as Kiribati at $2,010 and the Marshall Islands at $3,640. Number 8. Marshall Islands. Marshall Islands has a GDP per capita of $3,879 as of 2018. Marshall Islands has an estimated GDP of $214 million as of 2018. The government of the Marshall Islands is the largest employer, employing 30.6% of the workforce, down by 3.4% since 1988. GDP is derived mainly from payments made by the United States under the terms of the amended Compact of Free Association. Direct U.S. aid accounted for 60% of the Marshall Islands' $90 million budget. The economy combines a small subsistence sector and a modern urban sector. The subsistence economy consists of fishing and breadfruit, banana, taro, and pandanus cultivation. On the outer islands, the production of copra and handicrafts provide cash income. The modern sector consists of wholesale and retail trade, restaurants, banking and insurance, construction, repair, and professional services, and copra processing. Number 7. Samoa. Samoa has a GDP per capita of $4,323 as of 2018. Samoa has an estimated GDP of $862 million as of 2018. The economy of Samoa is dependent on agricultural exports, development aid, and private financing from overseas. The country is vulnerable to devastating storms. Agriculture employs 2/3 of the labor force, and furnishes 9% of exports, featuring coconut cream, coconut oil, and copra. Outside a large automotive wire harness factory, the manufacturing sector mainly processes agricultural products. Tourism is an expanding sector. More than 70,000 tourists visited the islands in 1996 and 120,000 in 2014. Its main imports are food and beverages, industrial supplies and fuels. The primary sector, agriculture, forestry and fishing, employs nearly 2/3 of the labor force and produces 17% of GDP. Number 6. Tonga. Tonga has a GDP per capita of $4,858 as of 2018. Tonga has an estimated GDP of $488 million as of 2018. The Tongan economy's base is agriculture, which contributes 30% to GDP. Much of the monetary sector of the economy is dominated, if not owned, by the royal family and nobles. This is particularly true of telecommunications and satellite services. Much of small business, particularly retailing on Tongatapu, is now dominated by recent Chinese immigrants who arrived under a cash for passport scheme that ended in 1998. The manufacturing sector consists of handicrafts and a few other very small-scale industries, all of which contribute only about 3% of GDP. Commercial business activities also are inconspicuous and, to a large extent, are dominated by the same large trading companies found throughout the South Pacific. Number 5. Fiji. Fiji has a GDP per capita of $6,208 as of 2018. Fiji has an estimated GDP of $11.874 billion as of 2019. The economy of Fiji is one of the most developed among the Pacific Islands. Nevertheless, Fiji is a developing country endowed with forest, mineral, and fish resources. The country has a large subsistence agriculture sector, which accounts for 18% of gross domestic product, although it employed some 70% of the workforce as of 2001. Sugar exports and the growing tourist industry are the major sources of foreign exchange. More than 409,000 people visited Fiji in 1999, excluding cruise ship passengers. About a quarter came from Australia, with large contingents also coming from New Zealand, Japan, the United States, and the United Kingdom. Tourism earned more than $300 million in foreign exchange for Fiji in 1998, an amount exceeding the revenue from its two largest goods exports, sugar and garments. Number 4. Nauru. Nauru has a GDP per capita of $8,562 as of 2018. Nauru has an estimated GDP of $112 million as of 2018. The economy has historically been based on phosphate mining. With primary phosphate reserves exhausted by the end of the 2010s, Nauru has sought to diversify its sources of income. In 2020, Nauru's main sources of income were the sale of fishing rights in Nauru's territorial waters and revenue from the regional processing center. Nauru is dependent on foreign aid, chiefly from Australia, Taiwan, and New Zealand. In anticipation of the exhaustion of its phosphate deposits, substantial amounts of the income from phosphates were invested in trust funds aimed to help cushion the transition and provide for Nauru's economic future. However, because of heavy spending from the trust funds, including some wasteful foreign investment activities, the government is now facing virtual bankruptcy. Number 3. Palau. Palau has a GDP per capita of $16,736 as of 2019. Palau has an estimated GDP of $291 million as of 2019. The economy of Palau consists primarily of subsistence agriculture and fishing. The government is the major employer of the workforce, relying heavily on financial assistance from the United States. The population enjoys a per capita income of more than twice that of the Philippines and much of Micronesia. Tourism is Palau's main industry. The activity focuses on scuba diving and snorkeling among the island's rich marine environment, including the floating Garden Islands to the west of Koror. Tourism earned $67 million in foreign exchange for Palau in 1996, which is $1,000 per person, accounting for roughly half of GDP. Number 2. New Zealand. New Zealand has a GDP per capita of $38,675 as of 2020. New Zealand has an estimated GDP of $193.545 billion as of 2020. The economy of New Zealand is a highly developed free market economy. It is the 51st largest national economy in the world when measured by nominal gross domestic product, GDP, and the 67th largest in the world when measured by purchasing power parity, PPP. New Zealand depends greatly on international trade, mainly with Australia, Canada, China, the European Union, Japan, Singapore, South Korea, and the United States. New Zealand's diverse economy has a sizable service sector, accounting for 63% of all GDP activity as of 2013. Large-scale manufacturing industries include aluminum production, food processing, metal fabrication, wood, and paper products. Mining, manufacturing, electricity, gas, water, and waste services accounted for 16.5% of GDP as of 2013. The primary sector continues to dominate New Zealand's exports, despite accounting for only 6.5% of GDP as of 2013. Number 1. Australia. Australia has a GDP per capita of $51,885 as of 2020. Australia has an estimated GDP of $1.3 trillion as of 2020. In 2018, Australia became the country with the largest median wealth per adult but slipped back to the second highest after Switzerland in 2019. Australia's total wealth was odd $10.9 trillion as of September 2019. In 2020, Australia was the 13th largest national economy by nominal GDP, 18th largest by PPP adjusted GDP, and was the 25th largest goods exporter and 20th largest goods importer, Australia took the record for the longest run of uninterrupted GDP growth in the developed world with the March 2017 financial quarter. The Australian economy is dominated by its service sector, comprising 62.7% of the GDP and employing 78.8% of the labor force in 2017. At the height of the mining boom in 2009-10, the total value added of the mining industry was 8.4% of GDP. With that being said, here we come to the end of our today's video. I hope you like this video. If so, then don't forget to subscribe to our channel, so you never miss any video. See you in the next video. Till then, take care. Thanks for watching.